Hello, this is a video for April 29th and we're still working on Gentle Cindy, last day of it today. So you will have done your handwriting, your letter sounds and got your adult to say some letter sounds for you to record and some of your heart words. We're going to move on to Gentle Cindy again. Alrighty then. We know that Gentle Cindy looks like this. Be quite cool if one of you could send me a photo of your attempt at Gentle Cindy. See if you can make something that doesn't look quite as freaky as this. C followed by E or I or Y makes the S sound. G followed by E or I or Y makes the J sound. For example, I might want to write the word cage. Age. Cage. Age. And we learn Gentle Cindy because next afterwards we learn about the DGE rule, and that's quite important. Cage, long vowel sound, silent E, cage. Rice, ice, ice. Again, long vowel sound, silent E, which is where this comes into play. Cycle. S-I-K-L. Watch this one, it's quite interesting. S-I, C-Y makes a S sound. K-L, look at that. C-L, so it's a K sound. And that's Millie down by my feet. Cycle. Magic. M-A-G-I-C. Now that breaks the CK rule. We'll ignore that, it's a hard word. But you'll notice this is followed by the I, so it makes a J sound, but there's nothing following this, so it makes a K sound. If we put an E on there, it'd be Magice. Brace. Brace yourself for this one. B-R-A-C. B-R-A-C. Brace. Cent. S-E-N-T. This is the money cent. It's two different spellings of it, and one of them's got another rule. You just have to know it's S-E-N-T. Should put a line down there so don't confuse you guys. Cent. Fancy. Fancy. That's what my grandmother used to say. Oh, fancy. F-A-N-C. C. F-A-N. Fan. C. C. Double syllable word. Fancy. What's it going to be? It's a Y. Fancy. What about the word? Ooh, city. S-I-T-E. City. Double syllable word. E. C-I-S. City. Face. A-S. A-S. Silent E because that long A sound. Face. And gym. G-M. My neighbour's working in the garden. I wonder if you can hear his music. He's not wearing a hat, and he should be. It's quite bright out there today. Right. Let's read those back. Cage, rice, cycle, magic, brace, scent, fancy, city, face, gym. First one I want you to write is not up there, but I think you can figure it out. Are you ready? Wage. Write it down. Remember to pause if you need to. Magic. Gym. City. Scent. Brace. Face. Fancy. Fancy. A-N-C. Right. Read those back to me. The cat's gone again. Please write this sentence. We did some fancy magic. We did some fancy magic. Fancy. And once you've finished that, read that back to me. The story is called 4 Puppies. It's quite a long one. This one was given to a Russell Waller from Nana Waller. Russell Waller is one of my cousins, and Nana Waller is his Nana, not mine. 4 Puppies, and this is a very long book, so if you want to read your own thing, that's just fine. If you want to read this to me, remember to set up a Zoom one. 1960, and set in America. I'll try and make sure that I get this close enough for you to be able to read. There were once 4 new puppies who lived in a warm, dark corner by the stove. Those puppies had never been outdoors because they were too little. They didn't know about sky or trees or grass. They didn't even know about summer or fall, autumn, or winter or spring until they were old enough to go out to the door to the sunny porch outside. I remember this, we had a copy of this too. At first the stairs were too big for the little puppies to go down. Then one day the stairs didn't look so big anymore. They are smaller, said one puppy. No, we are bigger, said his brothers. Then those 4 little puppies would flop, hop and tumble down the stairs and into the great big world outside. Dog, 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 dog. They sniffed the fresh green smell of the grass. They raced on the grass and they rolled on the grass and they turned somersaults in the grass all afternoon. Oh my, what a fine place this is, said the 4 little puppies. Every day the 4 puppies went out to play. They pounced at caterpillars. Poor caterpillar. They chased butterflies. They ran round and round after their shadows. They had so much fun that they hated to go inside, even when there was nice hot chicken broth for supper. Oh, imagine feeding your dogs broth, just broth, maybe some rice in there. Then one morning, the stairs looked even smaller. And we're even bigger, said the puppies. And they walked down those stairs, plop, 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 as easy as pie. But the 4 little puppies were so busy playing that they didn't see that the big world was changing too, until what comes after summer? Autumn. Only in America it's called fall because the leaves fall. It had changed so much that they couldn't play the same games anymore. A funny little wind tickled their ears. They didn't have shadows because the sun was behind a cloud. The grass felt cool. The butterflies had gone. The caterpillars were hiding. That's quite right. And the leaves began to turn yellow and red. Oh dear, said the puzzled puppies. I think this was my favourite picture growing up. The next day, whoosh! The wind knocked all the petals off a rose, and swoosh! It blew the leaves right off the trees. Those 4 little puppies tried to put the petals back on the rose. They tried to put the leaves back on the trees, but they couldn't, so they started to cry. You silly billies, there's nothing to cry about, said a friendly red squirrel in the hickory tree. When the leaves turn red and yellow and come off the trees, it means that summer is over and fall has come. Why, you'll just have more fun than ever. And the squirrel was right. Leaves as crisp as cornflakes covered the ground. The 4 little puppies scuffed around in leaves and buried themselves under leaves and kicked leaves up in the air. They had so much fun that they hated to go inside, even when there were lamb chops for supper. In the days before dog food was invented. Then one morning, when the puppies were out to play, they didn't have to walk plop plop down the stairs. They could jump down the steps 2 at a time. They're even smaller, said one puppy. No, we are even bigger, said his brothers. But they didn't see that the big world was changing too until... There's a squirrel collecting stuff in. The neighbour's got the ladder going up somewhere. It had changed so much that they couldn't play the same games anymore. The water in the puddles was as hard as glass. A rough wind blew their ears back and blew the leaves clear out of the yard. Oh dear, cried the puzzled little puppies. They tried to hold on to the leaves, but still they blew away faster and faster, so the puppies started to cry. You silly billies, there's nothing to cry about, said the friendly red squirrel in the hickory tree. Red and squirrel, they were words I struggled with when I was little. When there's ice on the puddles and the north wind blows, it means that fall is over and winter has come. You'll just have more fun than ever. In New Zealand, because we're in the southern hemisphere, the cold wind is the south wind, southerlies. And the squirrel was right. For the next day, when the puppies went out to play, everything was white with snow. Every day after that, those 4 little puppies parted snow with their noses and slid down the bank and made footprints in the snow. They had so much fun that they hated to go inside, even when there were great big beef bones for supper. One morning, the puppies were so big they could jump down the stairs 3 at a time, but they didn't notice that the big world was changing too until... They changed so much that they couldn't play the same games anymore. The sunshine was warmer. It wasn't raining, but the water kept dripping from the trees. The snowbank was too small to slide down, and the next day there were bare brown patches of ground with no more snow at all. Oh dear, cried the puzzled little puppies. They tried to push the snow into a pile so they could keep it to play with, but the snow turned to water and sank into the ground right under their paws. So the puppies started to cry. You silly billies. There's nothing to cry about, said the friendly red squirrel in the hickory tree. When the sun gets warmer and melts the snow, it means that winter is over and spring has come. And you'll soon guess for yourselves what comes after spring. It's like a wheel turning round and round. And the squirrel was right. Some tiny green stalks poked up out of the ground. The puppies in the stalks grew bigger every day. And one day the puppies jumped down all the steps at once and found leaves and flowers on every stalk. "That's how the big world looked when we first saw it," they cried. They actually remembered. And they began to bark happily, for they had guessed what comes after spring. "Summer is what comes after spring," cried the first puppy. "Butterflies again." "Then fall," said the second puppy. "Crisp leaves again." "Then winter," said the third puppy. "Nice white snow again." "Then spring," said the fourth puppy. "Brand new leaves again." "And everything starts all over again every spring," all the puppies cried together. The friendly red squirrel looked down at them from the hickory tree. "Now that you know all that, you are not puzzled little puppies any more," he said. "What are we then?" asked the puppies. "You are big, brave dogs," he said, and the squirrel was right, as usual. It's an interesting one here. There they are, never been outside before, until they can go out. That's a bit like us at the moment. I mean, we can go out, we can go for walks every day, but we can't just go anywhere we want to. When you're allowed out, when we're out of level 4 and maybe down to level 2, what do you think you'll do? Where will you go? Can you write to me about that? Write me as many sentences as you can about where you want to go. Do you know where I want to go? I want to go to school. I want to go to school and prepare my messy room and get all ready for you guys coming back into it. And yes, I'll be looking at your books and making comments. So I hope that you've been sending me your work every day, and many of you have. And it's been good because I've been able to feed back to you. And some of you have been asking for Zoom meetings. Remember, you can do that. And you can read to me, or you can share your work and we can talk about any difficulties you're having. Right, I'll see you tomorrow where we've got a new rule to look at, new spelling rule. And this book here, Tidy Titch, which, as you know what my office looks like, it explains a lot about me. See you tomorrow.